This amount. This is just about the amount
In
of
February
a teaspoon.
2003, then U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell made the case for war with Iraq at the United Nations Security Council.
Indeed, the facts and Iraq's behavior show that Saddam Hussein and his regime are concealing their efforts to produce more weapons of mass destruction.
Powell repeatedly stressed the phrase weapons of mass destruction. These alleged weapons of mass destruction were used to justify the US-led coalition's invasion of Iraq without the authorization of the UN.
American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
In the early morning of March 20, 2003, the US launched its shock and awe bombing campaign across Baghdad. In less than a month, the Iraqi capital fell, and with it, Saddam Hussein's government. On May 1st, Bush declared combat operations of Operation Iraqi Freedom over, and mission accomplished. In December, Saddam Hussein was captured near his hometown of Tikrit. The Iraqi High Tribunal convicted him in October 2005 of crimes against humanity. He died by hanging in December 2006. Meanwhile, the US forces intensified its search for the alleged weapons of mass destruction, but failed to find any.
We did carry out 700 inspections altogether, about 500 different places. And then we told them, yes, we've been there and we haven't found anything.
What was intended as a brief conflict led to a prolonged occupation that failed to resolve political stability and security in Iraq, and instead created more violence. During the invasion, the coalition disbanded the Iraqi army, sending armed men into the streets. The disbanded, largely Sunni army morphed into an insurgency, while Shiite leaders founded militias. The insurgents attacked US-backed forces and military personnel. In 2004, the central Iraqi city of Fallujah witnessed two bloody battles that left over 100 Americans dead and wounded more than 1,000 Iraqis. Despite US and coalition forces' presence, the insurgents shifted their attacks on civilians. Sectarian conflicts were also reignited. Then, nearly 9 years since the invasion, Washington announced an end to its military mission in Iraq.
Iraq's future will be in the hands of its people. America's war in Iraq will be over.
But the violence was far from over, as the radical fundamentalist group Islamic State, also known as ISIS, emerged. In the 20 years since the US invaded Iraq, more than 100,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed. 2 million of them were internally displaced. The US promised to bring peace, freedom, and democracy to Iraq. But to this day, Iraq remains mired in political instability, social unrest, and economic hardship. Wang Yang, CGTN.